Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to a holistic approach, thyroid care through Ayurvedic and yoga with Priya Bala. Just a few quick notes before we start the presentation. Please hold your questions until the end of the presentation. You may use the chat box or the Q&A when asking your questions. Captions are provided for this event. You can press the captions button at the bottom of your screen to view the captions, and the link for Spanish captions is in the chat box. A few days after the event, everyone who registered will receive an email with evaluation forms from our grant sponsor. Please consider filling out the evaluation forms as they greatly help us to provide and improve future programming. I would like to start by thanking the National Network of Libraries of Medicine Middle Atlantic Region, a partner of the All of Us Research Program, for providing a grant funding tonight's captions. The All of Us Research Program aims to build one of the largest, most diverse collection of data of its kind for health research. The goal is to have 1 million or more diverse volunteers nationwide who will sign up to share information over time. The goal of the program is to help researchers understand more about why people get sick or stay healthy. By looking for patterns, researchers may learn more about what affects people's health. To learn more about the All of Us Research Program, visit www.joinallofus.org/NLM. I would like to introduce Dr. Priya Bala, an Ayurvedic doctor from the Ashram Center for Wellbeing. In this webinar, she will discuss thyroid disease from an Ayurvedic perspective. She will teach us practical mind-body intervention to optimize thyroid function. Dr. Priya? We can't hear you. Sorry, you're muted.
Hi, everyone. Namaste and welcome to this webinar. First of all, I would like to thank the library director and all the coordinators for giving me an opportunity to share the Ayurvedic perspective about thyroid disease and its management. So I'm so glad to be here to share this knowledge with you. At this point of time, when the pandemic is keeping all of us in fear, this program opens the doors to a lot of healing techniques for us, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So thank you one and all again for joining. So let me start my slide share. All right. So thyroid and its Ayurvedic perspective. So everyone knows about thyroid disease already, but we want to look at this in two areas. So one, what is the thyroid gland and its function? So what does it do, and what are the diseases of the thyroid gland, and what are the current modalities used to manage this condition? And then we go to the Ayurvedic perspective, and we are going to discuss what are the other options in Ayurveda to manage thyroid disease. So let's go on. So the thyroid gland is located in front of the neck, just below the Adam's apple. It takes iodine from the diet and makes thyroid hormone. This thyroid hormone affects a person's physical energy, temperature, weight, and mood. So basically, it controls the metabolism of the body. The thyroid diseases generally fall into two broad groups of disorders. One is abnormal function, and there is the second one, abnormal growth nodules in the gland. So abnormal function. So functional disorders are usually related to the gland producing too much thyroid hormone. This condition is called hyperthyroidism, where the T4 is more and the TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone secreted the pituitary gland, that is less. And the other condition is too little thyroid hormone. It's called hypothyroidism, where the T4 is less. This is secreted by the thyroid gland itself, and the TSH is high, which is secreted by the pituitary gland. So this is the abnormal function of the gland. So what happens if there is the abnormal growth? We call them nodules in the gland. So benign nodules in the thyroid gland are common. So they do not usually cause serious health problems. The nodules can occasionally put pressure if they are too large. Otherwise, they don't cause any serious health issues. So even when the nodules are present, the thyroid gland can function normally. You don't even see it in the blood work. And the next is, how do you diagnose it? So normally when you have a few symptoms, like you're feeling tired, lethargic, too much hair fall, lack of sleep, all these conditions, then you go to your doctor and you say, oh, you have all these conditions, and the doctor gives you a blood work. So they want to know your thyroid profile, what is called the thyroid profile. So normally they measure the T4 and the TSH. And then when the blood work comes in, if there is any abnormality in these two hormones, then they give you medicine. So same way, if you have a nodule, they either do a biopsy or they do a nuclear scan, or sometimes what type of nodule is it, how big is it really bothering you, and so on. All right, so this is about the current diagnostic method. And these are the most common thyroid diseases at present. One is thyroid cancer, hypothyroidism, autoimmune thyroiditis. It is also called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And there is hyperthyroidism. And again, there is the nodules. Normally, if you have nodules, you don't require any treatment, but the doctors ask you to come and do a periodic follow-up with them, like every year, to check if the nodules are not becoming cancerous or not. Okay, right. So this is the statistics. So it says women are 5 to 8 times more likely than men to have thyroid problems. In fact, 1 woman in 8 will develop a thyroid disorder during her lifetime. And up to 60% of those with thyroid disease are unaware of their conditions, because the symptoms are so varied that it is very hard to point out this is exactly a thyroid condition until you do the blood work. Right? So this is about the modern medicine perspective. So they also have a list of foods to avoid. I'm just adding this to the modern perspective because this is given by the American Thyroid Association. So this cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, etc., belonging to Cruciferaceae family have to be avoided. Soybean, alcohol, and gluten and excessive fatty and sugary food can cause thyroid disorders. And some agents called goitrins are found in plants like cabbage, mustard, and turnip, which causes goiter in cattle, and that may contribute to endemic goiter. Okay? And highly fatty foods like beef, etc., are not advised to hypothyroid patients. This is the recommendation from American Thyroid Association. So this is about what modern medicine, to sum up what modern medicine has so far given about the thyroid gland. Okay, so now we are going to jump into the Ayurvedic perspective. Get into the next one. All right. So before going into the Ayurvedic perspective of thyroid disease, we must know what are the fundamentals of Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is built on 5 fundamental things. So the first one is earth, water, fire, air, and space. These 5 are called 5 elements. So our body is made up of 5 elements and the universe is made up of 5 elements. So our fundamental principle starts from here. And then from this, we derive what is called the three doshas. Many of you might have heard the name doshas, but here are they. The first one is vata, which is air or space, air and space together. The second one is pitta, which is fire and water together. The third one is kapha, water and earth together. So now these three elements keep moving in our body. Earth is stagnant, it is stable, and space is required for these elements to move in the body. So these two are constant, and water, fire, and air move through these structures. So that is why three doshas are derived from the five elements. Now, these three have to be in perfect balance in order to call us healthy. Okay, so the vata, pitta, and kapha should be in perfect balance. And all of us are born with an innate constitution called Prakriti. So we have a certain combination of these three in our body. That is why each and every one of us are different. We have a unique Prakriti. And when, because of food and bad lifestyle choices and different activities that do not keep up the balance, this gets disturbed, and then we fall into a state of imbalance, which is called Vikruti. So this is the imbalanced state. So any disease, we call it Vikruti. So now another aspect of Ayurvedic fundamental is the seven dhatus, the tissues. So these tissues are chyle, blood, muscle, fat, bone, the nervous system, the brain, the marrow, everything, and the reproductive tissue. So these seven tissues make up our entire body, the organ systems, the heart, the liver, the spleen, the muscles, the nerves, everything come under the seven tissues. So now, if the doshas are in imbalance, our next question is, where are they in the seven tissues that they are in imbalance? Are they in imbalance in the blood or in the muscle or in the fat, or which tissue, and which dosha is an imbalance in which tissue? So that determines our main problem, and the main duty of an Ayurvedic doctor is to bring back the balance from wherever it is to your Prakriti, which is your innate constitution. So you feel yourself again. All right. And finally, the most important thing in Ayurveda is Agni. Agni means digestion. So the digestive fire, which is responsible for metabolism. So if we are eating all organic food and we are eating very healthy food, but if your Agni or digestion is not very strong, then whatever food you eat is not digested and assimilated properly in our body. We take a lot of minerals, vitamins, and other supplements along with very good healthy food. But in spite of taking all that, we still have certain deficiencies. This is because the Agni is not strong enough. So another important factor that Ayurveda looks into each person is to strengthen their Agni or their metabolism. Very, very important thing that we look for. Otherwise, even the herbs that we give, even the diet changes that we suggest does not work if the Agni is weak. So we focus on strengthening the Agni for any disease, leave alone thyroid disease. So now we all know that thyroid disease is mostly related to our metabolism. So we have to focus on the Agni. All right. So this is the same thing that we explained. Thyroid function is attributed as the function of Agni. which is system related to metabolism. And through the management of Agni, wholesome normal activity of the thyroid gland may be achieved. Right? So in Ayurveda, it is said once the Agni is corrected, you can bring back the activity of the thyroid gland to normalcy. All right, so go to the next slide. So what dosha is it that is involved in thyroid disease? So hypothyroidism is mostly vata and kapha imbalance. You know, vata is mostly the air element and kapha is the earth and water. So because of vata, the air, it makes the skin and hair very dry and the nails brittle, and it causes constipation because it dries up all the moisture in the stools, and it's very dry stools and irregular heartbeat, muscle aches and pains, irregular or painful periods. These are all vata imbalance symptoms of hypothyroidism. And same way, kapha imbalance. Now there is more or less water or earth, then what happens here is increased body weight, sensitivity to cold, physical and mental sluggishness, forgetfulness, increased cholesterol level, and reduced sweating or absence of sweating. These are all symptoms of kapha imbalance. So these two are related to hypothyroidism. Whereas hyperthyroidism, there is more fire element. It's burning too much. It's burning all the tissues and it makes the person lose weight. So here is a pitta and vata imbalance, which is hyperthyroidism. So this is how thyroid disease is classified based on the doshas in Ayurveda. All right. Right. So that is the hyperthyroidism with the vata imbalance. So now you know what is causing the thyroid disease, right? So now you have a condition and your doctor did a blood work and you got the TSH is abnormal and the T4 is abnormal. The doctor diagnoses you to be a hypothyroid patient. And then they give you medicine. Say you have 25 mcg of some medicine like levothyroxine or Synthroid, whatever the doctor gives you. Now you are going home and taking that medicine every day, say for 6 months. And then again you go back to your doctor. And now the doctor again checks your thyroid profile and say, everything is normal. You continue the medicine. So now, if you had to depend on the thyroid medication forever throughout life, in spite of doing lifestyle changes or diet changes and everything, that is not a complete healing. So according to Ayurveda, one must try how to get out of that medication. Because most of the clients that we see, their medicines are going on increasing 25 to 50, 50 to 88, 75, 100, and so on. And throughout their life, they are on thyroid medication. And there is no other strategy that is being followed to get them out of the medication. It seems that it is not even a possibility, right? But I want to discuss about our body's innate intelligence. This intelligence, our body formed as a single cell, only one cell in your mother's womb. Okay, so that one cell multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, and it became the 7 tissues. That same cell divided and differentiated into the brain cell, into your eye cell, into your taste buds, into your heart, into every organ, most complex organ systems. Everything came from that one single cell. All right. And this cell has differentiated itself into thyroid glands also. And it knows exactly when to secrete the thyroid hormone, how much to secrete, and so far it never failed you. The pituitary gland secretes the right amount of TSH and it stimulates the thyroid gland to secrete the right amount of T3 and T4 and so on. It never failed you. If you eat any food, your body never failed to remove the toxins out of the food and eliminate it and take the nutrition from it. And we have this nice body with all functions intact. Now, what are we not doing right? Why are we falling into the imbalance? Right? So we have to think about it. We have to appreciate all the complex working system of our body in the first place. And we have to understand and add or eliminate certain diet and change or do certain lifestyle changes so that you allow your body to get back into normalcy. So that is what the focus of Ayurvedic treatment is. So now the first thing is elimination of toxins. The toxins are called ama in Ayurveda. So this ama, lot of toxins in the blood and sitting in the organs, they don't allow for a proper circulation of blood, of heat, of lymph, any circulation. It creates barriers. The ama creates barriers so that circulation is not complete in the system. So first step in Ayurveda is to eliminate the toxins so that all the fluids and all the nutrition can flow freely to each and every cell in the body. So that is number one. Number two is strengthening the digestion. As we discussed earlier, if the digestion is not good, even we eat the best of the food, our body is not able to break it down and assimilate. So we have to strengthen the digestion. So this is done through herbs and certain techniques. The third one is balancing the three doshas. So the three doshas are Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So we'll have to find out which dosha is out of balance and where is it affecting, which tissue is affected. And in the case of thyroid disease, mostly the fat is affected. So when fat is affected, what happened? There is accumulation of fat in the body. So normally in hypothyroidism, people put on weight. And all the tissues are stagnant in the fat stage itself. So the next tissue of fat, the next tissue is bone. So when all the food is accumulated as fat in the body, it does not transform properly into the next tissue, which is the bone. So there is bone pain and muscle pain, and there is osteoporotic changes where, so all these symptoms, tiredness, because after all the 7 tissues are transformed, finally we get energy. And that energy is lacking because the transformation stops in the layer of fat itself. So that is why we need to balance the three doshas and also strengthen the Agni, which is responsible for transformation of one tissue to another. Okay. And there is the most important thing, stress relief. So what happens when we have too much stress going on? It can be physical stress or mental stress. It can use up all the energy in the mental processes itself. So when we think too much and when we are worried too much, when we are in fear, all these emotions can take up all the energy through the mind itself, through the brain itself. So there is nothing left out for the other physical functions. For example, digestion. So when there is too much of stress, we don't sleep properly, We keep awake in the night and work late in the night. So there are so many of these contributing factors where all the energy is used up just in the mind thinking process. But we need a certain amount of energy to carry on our body functions, which we unfortunately do not give enough. So we'll have to accommodate this also as a part of a treatment for thyroid disease. Otherwise, it is not complete. And finally, rejuvenation. Rejuvenation happens naturally when all of us are in a deep sleep state. So if we go to bed, for example, between 10 and 11 p.m. in the night, you will probably fall asleep into a deep slumber by around 1 o'clock. But if you go to sleep after 12 midnight, then the deep sleep is disturbed. You never fall into a deep sleep state. So that is the place, or that is the time when the body repairs and rejuvenates itself. But now we are stealing that time also from our body and using it for other work. Most of the kids are on the phone, on the computer, playing games in the midnight because mornings they have school, they don't sleep properly, and then they wake up at 9, 10 o'clock. So this totally disturbs their rhythm. There are so many problems that we see in the kids nowadays because of lack of sleep. And there is no rejuvenation happening. The cells need time and energy to rejuvenate itself. That happens only during the sleep. If we don't sleep properly, then we are totally missing out on the rejuvenation part. And in Ayurveda, there is a technique also called Panchakarma, which is used to rejuvenate the cells of the body. We'll discuss about that later. All right. So this is the focus of Ayurvedic treatment. And yeah. So now the first one is detoxification. So as I said, it is done by using herbs mostly. So when people come in with a condition where it has just started, the thyroid disease has just started, meaning less than 5 years, then we do detoxification with just herbs alone, and it works wonderful. But if the thyroid disease is more chronic, it's 10 years, some people are on thyroid medication for 20 years, then we do another type of detoxification called Panchakarma, where we give certain oil massages and steam, herbal steam, and using oil drops in the nose to cleanse the head and the neck. And there are so many techniques. It is a whole science by itself, Ayurvedic detoxification, called Panchakarma. So that is done for chronic patients with a thyroid disease. Okay. And herbs. Herbs are of different kinds, and there are thousands of herbs that are used in Ayurveda. So whenever it comes to herbs, people ask Ayurvedic formulations, they contain metals or minerals. Yes, in India, the Ayurvedic herbs contain metals and minerals which are purified for internal use. But in the US, we use mostly single herbs or a combination of 2 or 3 herbs, very simple herbs to get the same effect. Okay, and this is very personalized, and the herbs are chosen according to the dosha and dhatu imbalance specific to that person. Okay, so that is about the herbs. And exercise. Most of us are like sitting in one place and working on the computer. We are looking at the screen for continuously for 8 hours a day, and there is no much activity, and the posture that we are sitting also like we slouch and we put so much pressure on the neck and the thyroid glands. So there is no enough circulation that is happening in the thyroid gland. That is one of the reasons, because the circulation has to be clear from the head to the toe. So if it is stopped or obstructed because of wrong posture, then that organ does not get enough oxygen or blood. So that develops a disease. So recently, after the COVID, people are working from home, and we get a lot of clients with the neck pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, and then elbow pain like tendinitis, and so many conditions where they keep the hand like this and work on the computer all the time, and there is no movement. It's only downward movement of the blood. There is no stretching. There's no upward movement of the hand, and so on. So these are all postural issues, and thyroid gland too gets affected, because when the neck is affected, the circulation to the thyroid gland is also affected. Okay, so in this session, we will learn certain exercises to keep the thyroid gland active. All right, and next comes the diet. As I said, in Ayurveda, more than what you eat, how you eat is very, very important. Okay, so even a fruit, or even rice, or boiled vegetables, or whatever you eat, the way you eat it is very, very important. So rule number 1 is to chew your food at least 10 to 15 times each bite of food, and then swallow it. Rule number 2 is not to drink water while you are eating or before and after eating. So you should wait 30 minutes after you finish your meal to drink water, or you can drink water 30 minutes before your meal. And then the next one is not to talk or watch or on the phone while you are eating. You should pay complete attention to the food, because that food becomes your body, right? And then there is a concept called incompatible foods in Ayurveda. What does that mean? Incompatible foods, there are certain type of foods that you cannot combine and eat together in the same meal time. One example, very important example, is raw food and cooked food. You cannot eat raw food and cooked food in the same meal time. Why? Because raw food takes a different time to digest, and cooked food take different time to digest. Say you eat a fruit like a strawberry, it takes half an hour to digest. If you take rice and beans, it stays in your stomach for 2 hours approximately. So what happens? The strawberry goes in with your rice and beans, and the strawberry gets digested in half an hour, but it has to stay in the same stomach bag until your rice and beans is digested. And what happens? The food starts to ferment, and you get bloating and gas and indigestion, acidity, heartburn, anything you name it, you get it. So when we separate the raw food, when you eat a meal, you eat just plain everything raw or everything cooked in a particular meal time. And then the final rule, which is most important, is eat only when you're hungry. What does hunger mean? Hunger means that your stomach is ready with all its acids, your liver is ready with all its enzymes, your pancreas are ready to receive the food that you are taking in, and it is ready to break it down and take energy from it. That is what hunger means. Without hunger, if we just keep on eating food or snacks, then they don't get digested properly, and they form ama or toxins. And these toxins can cause any disease in the body. All right. So in the diet, This is very, very important. We already saw a list of foods that you should not eat because they cause the cruciferous family and the other things in the previous slide. But what I shared now is the most important aspect of diet that everyone should follow. All right. And then belief in inner intelligence. Our body always wants to stay in a state of homeostasis, in a state of balance. It wants to come back to balance. But our diet, our lifestyle, our sleep habits, everything, we make it go out of balance. We never give a choice or a chance for the body to fall back into balance. All right. So this inner intelligence is there in everyone. And that is the same intelligence that made your one cell into this complex body with all its complex functions. So we have to believe the inner intelligence. Whatever medicine you take, you have to allow the body to fall back into balance. Okay. For that, you cannot stuff your body with too much food, too much supplements, and too much medication, and not stuff your mind with too much thoughts, worries, fear, and all the other things. You have to give some free time so that the intelligence can act again and put you back into balance. And then we have to keep positive emotions and thoughts, which is very, very important. All right. So this all consists of the Ayurvedic interventions of thyroid disease. All right. Now you all know that yoga is a sister science of Ayurveda. Okay. So yoga and Ayurveda also take into consideration not only the physical body, but also the energy body. Okay. This energy body is very, very important in Ayurveda and yoga. Without considering the energy body, our treatment is not complete. So you must have heard about the chakras. So there are 7 chakras where the energy accumulates and functions. It acts like a transformer where the energy accumulates and it's distributed to that particular area in the body. So now there is the Mooladar Chakra, which is the earth center. Each of this center equates to one of the 5 elements. All right. So this Mooladhara Chakra is in the near the tailbone, and this is connected with the sex glands and also the adrenal glands. Okay. And when the Mooladhara Chakra is strong, you feel more energy. When the Mooladhara Chakra is weak, you feel tired and lethargic, which is one of the symptoms of thyroid gland. So thyroid gland, the thyroid treatment of thyroid disease not only involves the throat chakra, but it also involves the root chakra, which is the Mooladhara Chakra. Okay. The next one is Swadhisthana, which equates to water and it equates to the sex glands. And the third one is Manipuraka, which is in the navel, in the belly button. And that is the fire gland. And it is responsible for all the metabolic activities in the body. And Anahata, which is the air gland, right? So this is in the heart center and it represents the thymus gland. It is connected to the thymus gland. And next comes our Vishuddhi Chakra. This is connected with the thyroid gland and it is connected with space or ether in the 5 elements. And then comes the pituitary gland, which is also called the master gland, which secretes the TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone, which controls the mind. And then here we have to note that when pituitary gland controls the mind also controls the pituitary gland. So if we are in a state of stress, the pituitary gland cannot function properly. it will be either overactive or underactive. If you put too much pressure, too many thoughts are a form of energy and they can congest the pituitary gland. And too much of stress can block proper circulation of energy in the brain, and pituitary gland being in the brain can also get congested, and it can lead to not only thyroid disease but any hormone imbalance in the body. All right. And then finally there is the Sahasrara or crown chakra, which is related to the pineal gland. Okay, so these are the chakras. Now let us talk about what is the specific function of this Vishuddhi Chakra. It is ether, it is space. So it is directly related to our communication. Okay, so if you don't communicate properly, whenever you want to say something, you are constantly suppressed by something outside. It can be your boss, it can be a spouse, or it can be something, your work environment, home environment, anything. If you cannot express what you think, it's coming up to here, but you are not speaking out. All this energy gets congested in the thyroid gland. And energy stagnating in a particular place for a long time can become mass. So there can be dysfunction of the gland, there can be nodules growing in the thyroid, and so many things that can happen because you are not letting out the energy flow freely. And in hyperthyroidism, it's opposite. They don't listen. They just want to talk. So it's like it's a diarrhea of thoughts, words. It's not stopped, it's just coming out, and there is no space to take in any other conversation or message from the outside. So that can be approximately compared, with the hypo and hyperthyroidism in regards to the communication. All right. So now what are we going to do about this? So in this program, we cannot discuss about the herbs because it's very personalized, but we can learn a few things to take home. Okay, so there is a point that you can do. This is a reflexology point, or you can call it an acupressure point. So this thyroid point is in the base of the thumb. Okay, and I will show you right now how to stimulate it. It is in both the hands and it is in the base of the thumb. Okay, so I think you can see my hand. So base of the thumb, where this big muscle is, so I want to use 2 fingers holding my thumb in the back and then massage this point. I want to keep my hand relaxed so this muscle is loose, and you can massage it this way. It helps to energize the thyroid gland. So it's connected through energy channels to the thyroid gland.
Priya, I'm sorry, I don't know if they can see your hand. Would you mind describing it?
Describe it?
If you could describe it. I don't think that they can see your picture.
Oh, they can see only the presentation?
Yes, they can only see the presentation. If you could just describe where the muscle is.
So can I stop the share and show my video?
Sure, you could just hit the stop sharing screen button up at top.
Yes. Now can you see me?
Yes, now we can see you.
Okay, so now the thyroid point is at the base of the thumb. And I want to keep my hand relaxed so this muscle is loose. And I want to keep 2 fingers and press the point with the thumb in the back. And I'm massaging the base of the thumb. I'm almost touching the bone and massaging it. Okay, so this is my left hand And the same thing you do with the right hand, like that. Okay. So this is a acupressure point or a reflexology point, whatever you want to call it. And this helps, and mostly with people having thyroid disease, this point always hurts when you press it. So I'm holding the thumb in the back and I'm massaging this point like this. Okay. So this is one. And number two, there is a 3-step neck exercise that we teach all our clients with thyroid disease, because when you move your neck in a certain way, it draws more energy and more circulation to all the structures around the neck. So this is beneficial in neck pain as well as to bring more energy to the thyroid glands. Okay, so if you're ready, you can do it with me, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So in the 3 steps, the first step, you have to lock your chin right here and inhale as you go up with eyes open, all the way up, and then close your eyes and exhale as you come down. Come back to chin lock. So chin lock means you cannot put your finger in here. It is totally locked. And then now again inhale up and exhale down. Back to chin lock as you exhale. So this is point number 1. Number 2 is bringing the ear to the shoulder, not shoulder to the ear, but ear to the shoulder. So I want to inhale as I turn right. Okay, like that, and exhale to neutral. Come back to this posture. Again, go left and exhale to neutral. So let's do one more time. Inhale to the right. Exhale to neutral. Again, inhale to the left. And exhale to neutral. So you must never do these exercises without the inhale and exhale. These are controlled movements and it will not strain your neck only if you do it with the breathing. All right. So the third one is back with the same inhale, exhale. So I'm going to inhale and turn right. Okay. And look back, exhale and come to neutral. Now inhale and turn left and look back. And exhale and come back to neutral. So you could instantly feel more energy moving up and down in your neck and the thyroid glands. Okay, so each of these exercises are to be done 3 times. Okay, and you can do it once a day and they have to be done in sitting posture. Never do this in a standing posture. Okay, so when you're working on the computer, when you have a break, please do this, and it can help your thyroid gland as well as your neck and as well as your shoulders and hands with the posture. All right, so this is the 3-step neck exercise. Then there is a very special energy exercise which instantly energizes the thyroid gland that we teach our clients. So now I'm going to share that very special exercise with you. So let me put the screen a little bit low so you can see me. So I'm keeping my hands like this. My hands should be actually on the lap, but I'm keeping it a little up to show you in the camera. I am in chin lock and I'm inhaling as I bring my hands up. Okay, so I am in chin lock now and I'm inhaling And then I release my chin lock and exhale. So my hands will go up to the lap. Because of the video, I'm just starting halfway, but it normally starts from your Swadhisthana chakra. Your hands are actually near your pubic bone. Okay, so let's do that again. First chin lock and inhale to the chin and head up and exhale all the way down. This exercise is to be done 10 times. Okay. All right. Okay. So now let's go back to the slide share. I hope you understood the exercises. Okay. So now we learned the thyroid point and how to stimulate it. This point is to be stimulated 30 seconds. At least once a day. And then the 3-step neck exercises you can do 2 or 3 times a day, and in sitting posture only with spine and neck in a straight posture. And then the thyroid breathing is the energy exercise I just now taught you. And relaxation before sleeping. This is very important because the sleep quality depends on what thoughts go in your mind just before you go to sleep. Are you watching the news? Are you watching all this imbalances going on around us? Are you worrying too much? What is going on just before, maybe 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed, affects the quality of your sleep. So it is best to completely relax the body and mind. You can use gentle music, or you can listen to some soothing thoughts, speeches from religious or spiritual books. You can read or listen to people who talk about that, and whatever calms down your mind before you go to sleep. That is depending on each individual's interest. You should do that before sleeping, because as I said earlier, sleep is the time when the body repairs and rejuvenates itself, and you should never compromise that. We have to respect our body's rhythm, and we have to do the relaxation. Okay. So that is it for today. So these are our emails if you want to contact us, which we'll share later also. But now I can take any questions.
There are a few questions already in the chat, and for anyone who has any questions, I invite you to put them either in the chat or in the Q&A at this point. So Priya, I'm just going to start from the top, and I'm going to work my way down through the list of questions I already have.
Yes.
The first question is, can hypothyroidism cause skin breakout during menopause?
Yes, we said it already causes dry skin, but in menopause, what happens, the pitta dosha is also coming into imbalance, and that is why the skin, which is already dry, can also break out. It becomes red, and we even get the butterfly rashes in the face, So it's very common, and it can cause that. Hypothyroidism can cause that.
Okay, the next question, and please forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. They're asking, what is chyle? C-H-Y-L-E?
Okay, chyle is the first product after digestion. As soon as we eat our food, the first product that is coming out, it is a mixture of all the nutrients. It is, that is what it's processed by the liver and the stomach, the acids and everything, together, that is called chyle. And that chyle is distributed so that it forms blood and other tissues.
Thank you. The final question I have right now in the Q&A, when you were doing the yoga exercises, do you recommend breathing through the nose or through the mouth?
Only through the nose. So it's inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And the inhale starts from the beginning and goes all the way up. And the exhale starts from there and goes all the way until you come to chin lock. So it's a long inhale and a long exhale. Same way with the other 2 steps in the neck exercise.
And next question, we have a request if you can show the thumb point again. If you could stop sharing your screen and could you show the thumb exercise again?
Can you see me? Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. So is my hand visible? So I'm holding the thumb behind and then I'm trying to press on this muscle. These muscles are called thenar muscles. And then I am pressing them like this, and then like that. Okay. The same way, in the other hand, keeping the thumb for support in the back, press, and then go like this. Some people find it more easy to use their thumb to press this point like this. So they have enough strength in the thumb, but these 2 fingers are not strong enough. So they use this one like this to press the same point. Can you see that? Like that. Is that good? Clear?
Yes, thank you. The next question. My thyroid completely stopped working 20 years ago. I have been on medication ever since. Does this mean I will always be on medication? No cancer, just stopped working.
So it depends on what is the reason why it stopped working. You know, is it autoimmune thyroid disease, or why is it did you have an infection? So it is very the question is very personalized, and there are other points to check, other hormone imbalances also, which we can check and find out if it work again or not. We use that as a diagnostic method also to see if it can come back to normal or not. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question, can you recommend what to do about skin rashes?
Skin rashes can be because of various conditions. It can be just a food allergy. You know, I talked about the raw and cooked food together combination. So even that can cause skin rashes because one food is digested, the other food is staying there and forming more acid. And this acid, if it is absorbed into the skin, and your skin is a major detoxing organ. I don't know if we did not discuss that. That is why in Panchakarma, in the Ayurvedic detox, there is always herbal steam given to open up the skin pores so the body can detox through the skin. You sweat through the skin and some of the toxins are removed through the skin as well. And some of the toxins are removed through the gut. Okay, so skin rashes can be because of food allergies or some irritant, even in your detergent. There are so many different reasons that there can be rashes in the skin. Right? Yeah.
The next question was, is it too late to start this treatment when you were treated for 10 years already with medication?
No, it is not. It is never late. As long as we live in the body, it is never too late to help manage any condition. So that is the basic Ayurvedic fundamental.
Right, the next question, how can you get the herb combinations for your condition?
Herb combinations have to be given by a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner or a Ayurvedic doctor. So because as I said, we did not discuss about the herbs because they are very personalized. So when a person comes with any thyroid condition, for example, they may have any additional symptoms. They may have acidity or bloating. And for acidity and bloating, there are different herbs, right? So there is no cookie cutter method that if it is thyroid, you eat this, this, then this. So that is not Ayurveda. So, and some person may have constipation and some may have loose stools. So we have to take into consideration all of the factors. How is your appetite? How is your digestion? How is your elimination? How is your sleep? How is your speech? How do you walk, the gait? So many factors that are considered before even we start to give any recommendations. Yeah.
So the next question, is there a thyroid point in your foot as well?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And because in the feet, it is far away and the skin is very hard. So when you press, it is really hard to press. The reflexology points, all of the points that are in the hands are in the feet as well. But if you do this, it is more than enough to stimulate your thyroid glands along with the exercise. Okay, so these points are like a switch. The light is elsewhere and the switch is here next to you. And if you switch this on, the light is glowing there. So the wires are, it's beneath the ceiling. You can't see it. The same way, when you press here, the thyroid glands get activated. The energy channels go inside, which we cannot see, but the effect is always there.
Thank you, Priya. Before we continue with the questions, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to our captioner, who I know has to leave us soon. Thank you very much, Jane. We really appreciate you being here. Next question on the list was, when talking about not mixing raw and cooked food, can you eat one first, then wait till you eat the other?
Yes, absolutely. But when you eat first raw food, you have to wait until you're hungry again, which may take even an hour to eat the next type of food. In the raw food, there are two types, right? It can be fruits or it can be vegetables, leafy greens, like in salads and all. So vegetables and leafy greens take longer time and fruits get lesser time, take lesser time. So eat a fruit, you wait minimum half an hour or until you get hungry. Or if you eat a leafy salad or vegetables, cucumber, carrots, then you wait 1 hour to 1.5 hours until you get hungry again to eat the next meal. So as I said, hunger is the preparedness of your body to receive the food. If you're not prepared, you cannot just throw the food inside. It won't digest properly.
The next question on the list, I've been using thyroid medication for almost 10 years. Can it be healed? How long does it take? And any estimated time in months, years?
Normally, if they do everything, all the interventions, if they sleep well, if they follow the diet regulation, if they take the herbs, it takes about 6 months to 1 year to get back to normalcy. And we always work with the primary care physician. We ask the patient to work closely with the primary care physician because they need the blood work. Okay, so when thyroid is normal, the physician normally think that it is normal only because you are on medication. Say you are on 50 mcg of levothyroxine and you're doing all this. The next time you go for blood work, we request the physician to lower the dose for you so that still it stays normal. And then again, when you go the next, you work with them again and you leave the medication with their permission, and then you do the blood work again and check that it is normal. So it's so long we haven't been doing anything to replace the functions, right? So you just take medicine and you eat what you're eating and you follow this lifestyle. So nothing is going to change. But now if you're willing to commit and do everything, whatever it takes to reverse it, definitely your body will reward you.
All right, the next question, is Ayurvedic treatment costly in the US?
Not very expensive, but I can say that it is not covered under insurance because Ayurveda is not a recognized system of medicine that is covered under insurance, even though it is 5,000 years old and it's a complete healing system by itself. Only in 10 states in the US it is covered by insurance and it is a licensed practice. But in other states, it is pay out of pocket. But I wouldn't say it is very expensive. It is affordable.
All right, the next question, what is the format of consultation and treatment now during COVID times?
Okay. The consultation is one patient at a time. We do see patients in person. So it's one patient at a time, and we take about an hour for a client to analyze and recommend the herbs and teach them points. And after they leave, then the next client comes from the car. So until then, they are alone with us in the center. So we follow all the rules and regulations and cleaning and, those things.
The next question was, may I know the location of the hospital or clinic? I assume that they're referring to the Ashram Center for Wellbeing.
Yeah, so I can show the next slide again, and there is the website, and all the information is on the website. Let me share that screen. So this is the website, myayurvedashram.com is the website. And if you go in there, you can see the address and everything, the charges and who are the practitioners and everything is in there.
All right. The next question, I am on thyroid medication right now. Can I treat it with Ayurveda instead?
Yeah, we don't recommend to stop medicines that they are taking because it's a shock to the body when you suddenly remove anything. So we take the help of your primary care physician and taper the dose according to their suggestion also, while you do all the Ayurvedic interventions, and finally, we can get out of the medication.
Okay, the next question, do we do the same exercises for hyper and hypothyroid condition?
Yes, yes. That is the beauty of, because you are drawing energy to the thyroid, and when you inhale and move up, you're drawing energy to the brain as well. Let me stop share and show you my screen. So when you inhale, you're taking energy to the thyroid as well as to the pituitary gland. When you inhale and go up, like that, all the way up, you're taking so much of energy or prana to the brain also, where your TSH is located. So when your TSH and your thyroid gland, pituitary and thyroid gland are working in order, then any condition will go back into balance.
All right, the next question. I don't know if you covered this question already, but it is in the chat, so I'm going to ask it again. Is Ayurvedic medication covered by insurance in New Jersey?
It is not covered in New Jersey.
All right, the next question on the list, are there any teas that you recommend?
So except coffee and black tea, any other tea is good. Herbal tea is good. You could do peppermint tea, you could do lavender tea, you can do chamomile tea. So any herbal tea is good. And the best one to help with the digestion or Agni is the CCF tea. You already know what it is, right? So the CCF tea, if you Google the recipe for that, and you can drink that twice, 2 cups a day. And as I said, any liquid to be consumed half an hour before or half an hour after meal. So you are not sipping your tea with your meal. So you wait half an hour, or you can take half an hour before. All right.
All right. Also, just a quick plug for the library. If you are interested in teas, or if anyone watching this is interested in different types of teas, the library is hosting a program on loose leaf teas next Monday, which is May 3rd at 6:30. So if you are interested in teas, I do recommend that you tune in for that as
Perfect.
well. The next question on the list, can a person without thyroid problems do pressure points to feel better?
Yes. Absolutely, because the pressure points always try to balance the condition. It's not going to increase or decrease anything. It's already there. It will bring it back to balance. If it is more, it's going to come down. If it is less, it's going to go up, and it will maintain the homeostasis.
The next question on this list is, I think, a reference to the previous question about medication and treatment being covered by insurance. They're asking, what are the 10 states that do cover it?
The list of the states is online. You can actually Google and find out the states. If needed, they can email me and I can send them the list. I do not know it exactly in my memory right now.
All right, I think that's all the questions that I have in the chat right now. Again, if anyone has any further questions, you can either put them in the chat or in the Q&A. I do apologize if I left out anyone's questions. There was a long list of questions in there. If I did leave out anyone's questions, please do type them in the chat or Q&A now, and I'll look through them. There is one more question that just came in. Will this recording be available for sharing? Yes, we are recording this program this evening, and it will be available on the library's YouTube channel within the next couple of days.
So,
and I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds just to see if any more questions come in. We have a request. Could you please show the exercises one more time?
okay, so let's do that. Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see.
Am I on this? Okay, so now the first one is chin lock. And you have to sit with the spine straight, no slouching or like going back. Sit straight. Chin lock. Inhale, open your eyes and go up and try to look back. Exhale, close your eyes. Come back to chin lock as you're exhaling. Again. Open your eyes, look back as you inhale. Now close your eyes. As you exhale, come back to chin lock. Okay, this is number one. Number two is you want to bring your ear to the shoulder with the inhale and don't lift your shoulder. Shoulders are down. Now, right, exhale, neutral, again left, again exhale, neutral. So this is the second step and we are doing this 3 times. So left and right is 1. Okay. Now the third one is turning back. So I want to look back with the inhale. Exhale. Neutral. Stop a second. Again start inhale. Turn to your left. Again. Exhale. Come back to neutral. This is the third step. Okay. So after you're done 3 times of this you can do while you're working. If you have a break, you can just take a break and do this. So it can relax your neck muscles. And the next thyroid exercise, the energy exercise, is while you're on chin lock, you put your hands together like this, or you can keep them like this, and inhale to here, lift your chin up and exhale all the way down. Chin lock, inhale all the way here. This is the maximum I can go. And then up, exhale, down to your lap. Okay, this is to be done 10 times. So these are the 2 exercises I taught you. Clear?
And I also just want to remind everyone that the recording will be available on the library's YouTube channel. So if you do want to go back another time and rewatch the exercises again, refer back to it, we will have the recording up within the next couple of days. So you will still be able to have access to these exercises. The next question in the chat box is actually one that I can answer. They're saying, are you planning on doing a follow-up class? Well, we don't currently have any dates planned to do a follow-up class. Certainly, if there's interest, the library would do a follow-up Ayurvedic class. If there's any other questions, again, we'll just give it a minute or two for people to put any questions that they have in the chat box. Again, you can use either the Q&A or the chat box. I'm looking at both. And I'll give it just another minute or so.
Yeah. And also, if you have any questions at all regarding this session, except individualized questions like what herbs to take, if you have any doubts in what we discussed so far, I will be glad to answer that. You can always contact me at info@myayurvedashram.com or contact@acwellbeing.org. This is a non-profit where we do the classes from Ashram Wellbeing. So you could contact me there. All right, just to, and then the main take home from this class is your body has an innate intelligence. If you allow it, it can spring back to balance. And we have discussed a few ways how to allow it back to balance. It needs space to spring back to balance. If we keep on eating full stomach, and thinking this is good for me, this is good for me, I'll eat this, I'll eat that, and this lifestyle we are not willing to change our lifestyle, and we are keeping awake until the middle of the night. If we are not willing to give space, it gets more and more difficult for the body to get back into homeostasis. So we have to allow the body to get back into normalcy. These are the few things I'm very glad I was able to share with you all. Please make use of them and be happy and healthy.
All right, and I think that was the last of the questions in the chat box. So I just wanted to end by thanking you again, Priya. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your time and your knowledge with us this evening. And I want to thank everyone who attended the webinar as well. Thank you so much for coming out this evening and joining us. And I hope everyone has an excellent evening.
Thank you. Thank you all, and namaste. Thank you.